What is Saturn Returns? Saturn Returns is the time in all of our lives when Saturn comes back to the exact place it was when you were born. What does that mean? You're going to be asked to clear things out, heal things out, and align with your inner truth. There are 2 times in life that this happens. We only hear about one usually. One time is in our late 20s, early 30s. The second time is in our 50s. Watch this video. So when I started doing this work years and years and years ago, every single person that would come to me because they were having an awakening. And what that looked like was usually late 20s or early 30s. And what that was is a Saturn Returns. And because I had done my Saturn Returns, I felt like I was called to really share about my experience and how my life completely shifted. But now what I've noticed in my coaching is I have a lot of people coming into my coaching practice in their 50s. And at first I was like, gosh, what is this? This is really interesting. Specifically women in their 50s, and they're going through very similar things. And what I was reminded of is that Saturn Returns happens again in your 50s if it wasn't completely completed in your 20s and 30s. So a lot of you are going through this right now. Your first Saturn Returns in your late 20s, early 30s, when you're either getting married, breaking up, moving across country, aligning with your purpose work, shifting careers, death in the family, illness in your life, things that pop up for you that are showing you are not fully in alignment with your truth. These things happen to push us back into our heart center, back into our full authentic alignment. If this didn't completely happen, and maybe you stayed in a career that wasn't great for you, or you needed to do it for longer, or you're in a relationship that ended, or whatever these things happened, you will go through a second Saturn Returns in your 50s. Everyone does it, but sometimes that Saturn Returns feels amazing and great, and wow, I've done it all, and other times it doesn't. Things pop up to correct the path. So this is what I want to talk about right now. Whether you're in your late 20s, early 30s, or you're in your 50s, you are going through a second or first Saturn return. And what that means is you are returning to the true authentic self. And anything that is in the way in your life that is not in alignment with your truth will be popping up to be healed. This is the inner work. So it's interesting. I have a client right now who's 55, and she is in a cycle of completion with an old career that used to define her. She doesn't want to be defined by others anymore. She doesn't want to have this career to know that she's worthy and good enough. She wants to step into her work. And it takes a lot of courage at that age to do that. But thankfully, she's in a position in her life where she financially can do this and has time where she can really shift into self-care. I have another client doing a similar thing who's 52. Early second Saturn Returns, but sometimes when you're in a rapid pace of awakening, it happens earlier for you. Redefining herself in love, redefining herself as alone and okay and in charge and in power. So it's interesting because I went through my first Saturn Returns before I started doing this work in the world. My husband is entering his second. So it's really interesting. It's a time of really looking at, is everything working for me? Is everything lining up for me rather than me working for it, me working for others, me sort of doing things to get that coping mechanism, that sense of self-filled from outside of myself. Those are the things we're dropping off. Many of us will find ourselves becoming entrepreneurs. Many of us will find ourselves on a spiritual journey that we weren't before. First time in our lives where we're really prioritizing self-care. One of my biggest things in my practice is to give you a very strong self-care regimen. That means daily guided meditations or meditations on your own. That means self-care, walking, biking, hiking, salt baths, sound baths, baths in general. It means skincare. It means beauty regimen. It means internal gut health. It means so many things for so many of us. My favorite self-care is all of it. I have a daily routine. And I don't get off my daily routine. And when I do get off my daily routine, I realize, oh my God, something's off because I'm on such a specific self-care regimen with a lot of flexibility. But I do my probiotics, I do my prebiotics. I do my 5-HTP, which is one of my new favorite supplements for serotonin. It's amazing. When you're moody or hormonal, take that. Obviously, ask your doctor first or your health coach, which I happen to be a health coach, so I would recommend it if you have specifics. So ask one of these people. But something I really love and recommend if you're in a moody place. I have to exercise, sometimes less, sometimes more, depending on my body and what I'm needing. I need nature specifically. I need candles and crystals around me at all time. I can't even show you my big crystals because they're so big, but here's one that I can show you. Around me at all time. I need to do my self-care work. I need to do my healing work, my service work. If I don't have a whole bunch of clients during the week, I'm feeling a little bit bummed. Sometimes I take breaks, but then I'm so excited to get back into it. So what's your service work in the world? I have this one client who's he's a man actually, going through his second Saturn Returns right now. And he's like, I don't know why. I feel like I just have something to give. I don't know what to do. I said, you know what you do? Random act of service. Go help someone you don't know. When you realize that you matter to them and you've affected them and you've made them feel better, you will feel better. Random act of service doesn't have to be a whole full-on career of service. It can be random acts of service. It can be sending a gift to someone because you know they love that or it would make them happy. Why not? Give. It helps you receive. So just a quick note on this. Saturn Returns. It is asking you to come back to self, authentic needs. Get real about how you feel so you can heal. What does my life need as opposed to what I think it should need? What makes me happy as opposed to what I thought should make me happy? What does my life look like? And how do I like that rather than what I thought it should look like and what I thought should have made me happy? So these are all the times that we replace these ideals with these reals, in case that wasn't clear, because I go off on tangents. Ideal versus real. This has been a lifelong journey for me. I recently just came into a new, amazing awakening of my own about what I want in this next decade. I'm in my 40s now. What do I really want it to look like as opposed to what I thought I would want it to look like at this stage? Dropping in, getting real. So, I love you guys. If you have more questions on this subject, we will be doing it in my monthly membership. The next 2 weeks, it's going to be about narcissistic relationships and then about Saturn Returns. So if you're not in my membership and you wish to join, please follow the links below. Please look for announcements. Please get on the newsletter because there's a lot of new things coming up. And I love you guys. Please share and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you soon. Namaste.